And our active weather story, well, it continues throughout southern Ontario. Rachel Schoutsen joining you right now. And I'm in Burlington this morning, just north of the 407, where we are looking for damage from yesterday's extreme wind gusts. Now, some areas like Toronto reached 98-kilometer-an-hour gusts. Kitchener at 102. Here in Burlington, again, close to that 100-kilometer mark. And that's why we're here at the Burlington Air Park, because there have been reports of some serious damage to the hangars. Now, of course, it is very dark right now. We have not been able to spot any damage, but our hunt will continue this morning. Now, it is freezing cold outside. Temperatures are close to zero across the GTA. However, once you factor in that wind chill, things are feeling more like -6, -5, -4. This is a very strong wind that just goes right through you. So, Tom, today you need a huge upgrade in the winter jacket. We are not at 18 degrees anymore. And the wind, that has been our biggest story here throughout southern Ontario. Rachel Schoutsen joining you this morning from Burlington, and we're just north of the 407. We're at the Burlington Air Park, where apparently, I saw the photos on Twitter, there's some extreme damage here at this air park. Now, very dark behind me here. We haven't been able to spot any of the damage just yet. However, our search will continue this morning. Hopefully the sun will help us out a little bit, and hopefully will help us out in terms of these temperatures. Temperatures across southern Ontario are at the freezing mark, but with this wind chill, it is brutally cold out here. One thing you're going to have to do today that you didn't do yesterday is upgrade the jacket. Wear something full on winter today, because these winds are going to be gusting throughout the day today. The gusts will not be 100 kilometers an hour like yesterday. That's what we saw in Kitchener, 102. However, still gusting around 50 to 60 kilometers throughout this morning. So very cold. Temperatures, like I said, right around the freezing mark, but feeling more like -5, -6. Now, Emily and Tom, I have to say, one thing I didn't like about that warm-up yesterday, it was too short. And our active weather story, it continues, just like you saw there in Force of Nature. The winds are gusting, and today, well, it's cleanup day for a lot of people. Down trees throughout Brantford, Ontario. Kitchener dealt with flooding as well. I know High Park has dealt with some pretty historic trees down. Now, I'm here in Burlington, just north of the 407, and we're at the Burlington Air Park, where staff has just arrived, and I was just speaking to a gentleman quickly. We were both looking at some of the photos of the damaged hangars together, so hopefully soon we will be able to show you some of them. And temperatures today, what a big difference in comparison to yesterday. Yesterday was record-breaking highs, 18.3 in the city of Toronto. Today, this wind is very strong. Temperatures are close to zero, but with the wind gusts feeling more like -5 and -6. Now, guys inside, yesterday I did some of my Christmas shopping. It's one month, not one day, 1 month left until Christmas, and with those winds, the doors of the stores were whipping in and out. I was at Michael's, the craft store, where the wind was holding the door open. And you know, Michael's, the craft store, with all the little knickknacks in there. The Christmas display, well, it was destroyed. Well, the active weather story, it continues here throughout southern Ontario. What a huge drop in temperatures. City of Toronto broke a record yesterday, 18.3, and today the high is just around 3 degrees. Right now, we are flirting with the freezing mark throughout the Greater Toronto area. However, the winds are strong and gusty today, so it's feeling more like -6 to -5. So very, very cold. You will want to upgrade the winter jacket. That's the one thing you should take away from this report today. Right here, we are at the Burlington Air Park, where if you are on Twitter, you saw the pictures of the damage of some of the hangars. Now, I was talking to some of the staff here, and the hangar that was damaged did not have sort of like a garage door on it. So the wind was able to just go right into that hangar and blow off portions of the roof. So that's why we did see some pretty serious damage here in Burlington. Now, I will send it inside to you, Tom. How are the road conditions looking? And active weather, it continues right here throughout southern Ontario. And yesterday, the wind was a huge story. And some places like Kitchener saw wind gusts up to 102 kilometers per hour. I'm joining you right now, Rachel Schoutsen, here in Burlington. We're just north of the 407. And we're at the Burlington Air Park, where some hangars here experience extreme damage. Right now, we are looking at fully enclosed hangars. These hangars also relatively newer, so these ones are okay. today. However, a little bit further into the airport, some hangars are no more. The winds were just that intense. They were facing a westerly direction, so perfectly in line of the storm. Now, we cannot get right to the scene. There is a media block right now. Basically, this airport wants to notify all of the plane owners of the situation. Though they are hoping that maybe later on this afternoon, media will be allowed. But if you're on Twitter, you've seen the photos. Now, I want to send it inside to Tom. Good morning. And wind, it continues to be our force of nature right here in southern Ontario. Rachel Schoutsen joining you now from the Burlington Air Park, where yesterday's wind gusts, well, they caused some damage here. And we've been talking about this throughout the morning, and I was just greeted by a guy here who said, hey, I'll send it back inside for now. Well, the wind story, that continues to be our force of nature right here in southern Ontario. Rachel Schoutsen joining you right now from the Burlington Air Park. And unfortunately, after yesterday's very gusty winds, some hangars at this place have been completely destroyed. We're right here in Burlington.
Rachel's joining us from Burlington. And Rachel, if anybody knows how these cold temperatures feel, it is you. How's the parka feeling?
Yep, it's me. I definitely feel these cold temperatures. The parka, though, it's definitely doing me well this morning. You will need the full winter gear today. Don't be fooled by the temperature of 3 degrees. I know it's above seasonal, but things are not above seasonal, above zero, but things are still absolutely freezing. Now, the reason why we're here at the Burlington Air Park is because yesterday's windstorm did do some damage of the hangars. These ones here are okay because they do have doors, and that seemed to have maybe help the situation. We know that the hangar that has been destroyed did not have a door, so those strong wind gusts getting into the structure and really creating some damage. Also, a lot of pilots have been in and out this morning checking on their airplanes and just making sure that their plane isn't the worst one. Now, yep, you'll hear it right from me. I am cold. And you know what? We're here at the Burlington Air Park, and basically there's a lot of people coming here today. It's a busy morning, and people are heading down to the west side to check out their hangars, because hangars here have sustained some damage just in time for all the pilots to really be notified and know exactly what kind of damage has been done to the planes.
And that is why Rachel Schoutsen has her parka on. Rachel, how's it feeling out there right now?
Well, Emily, when I was leaving the studio this morning, you said put on that big parka, and I'm so glad that you did, because we're still seeing wind gusts around 50 to 60 kilometers an hour, and it is just bone-chilling cold. Now, the reason why I'm here at the Burlington Air Park is because after yesterday's windstorm, we did see some pretty serious damage. I'm now joined by Andrew, and Andrew, I just saw you talk to your friend Ted and tell Ted your plane has some of the worst damage we have seen.
Not as much aircraft damage as we might have thought, so that's a good thing for us and a good thing for the community.
Yes, absolutely. That is good news. And this morning we have seen a lot of different pilots down here checking on their planes, making sure everything is okay. Yes, this is the unfortunate situation. This is what a windstorm could do here in southern Ontario. Rachel Schoutsen joining you now from Burlington Air Park. And look at this. A hangar used to stand as the structure here protecting these airplanes. As you can see, the hangar does not exist anymore. A wind gust close to 100 kilometers an hour traveling into here, basically getting trapped and sort of just blowing the roof right off. We have been talking to some pilots this morning, and it's a very scary and sad situation for people who do own these planes. A lot of people now are picking up the pieces. Well, the winds have been extreme, and this is the damage to prove it. Rachel Schoutsen joining you right now from the Burlington Air Park. And where I'm standing used to be covered by a hangar. This here was someone's workstation, maybe a hobby plane that they were working on. A few of these airplanes along here were also for sale. You saw the for sale signs in the windows. So unfortunately now, this is just a huge disaster. So right now, a lot of people contacting their insurance and waiting to pick up the pieces. We're here in Burlington at the Burlington Air Park, and we're sort of explaining what happened during the windstorm yesterday. So I want you to look at this plane. This plane here, you can see it is attached to the ground, still looks like it is in decent shape, but I was just talking to a pilot named Jeff Backwell, And he said last night, with the wind, this plane was actually airborne. It was lifted off the ground. Now, these are still intact, but it just goes to show how powerful this windstorm was yesterday. The structure here has been destroyed, and the next step now is just waiting for insurance.